task is simply this.
Huh?
Kill 3 of your coworkers.
What? But I'm the only one here. Welcome to Movies with James. Today we are talking about the Belko experiment. If you've seen the trailer, you probably know it's about an office that's put on lockdown and told, kill 30 people or have 60 people's heads blow up. So this is a classic gimmick plot. It basically involves a specific scenario that can be summed up in 1 or 2 sentences and makes people think, I wonder how that's gonna play out. So some good examples of this are The Purge. The government says you can kill people for a day. It's okay. Saw, stab yourself in the face or die. The Human Centipede, ass to mouth. These movies are very dependent on the trailer because people see the trailer and think, oh geez, I need to figure out how this predicament ends. They're basically just like writing prompts from Reddit. It's like an interesting concept that makes you think, but it's only like a sentence long. But hey, I saw the Belko experiment trailer and I'm like, wow.
In 2 minutes, we want 30 of you dead. If 30 of you are not dead, we will end 60 of your lives ourselves.
That's quite the dilemma right there. I better find out how this ends. So the Belko experiment is written by James Gunn, who is clearly a big fan of Philip Zimbardo because this movie is a social experiment.
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 So as we know, most YouTube social experiments are actually just harassment.
Do you want to have sex with me?
But in this movie, the Belko company has an issue differentiating between a social experiment and terrorism.
Don't fucking move!
The movie tries to pretend that it has some social commentary on our basic instincts or the human psyche, but after watching it, I can completely confirm it's pretty much just Office Space Hunger Games. But anyways, the Belko company is located in Colombia and has about 80 US employees. The movie starts with all the employees getting to the office, going through a big line of security, then once they're in the office, all these metal doors shut down and the intercom says basically, kill or be killed. Now, I was recently asked what I would do in this situation, and that's a trick question because I would never be in this situation because I'm not a fucking idiot. I would never take a job in Colombia. I've seen Narcos. The best case scenario, I develop a cocaine habit. Oh, and what's this? If you want to work here, you gotta get a chip implanted in the back of your head so they can track you if you get kidnapped? Well, that makes me feel safe working in Colombia. If I ever get abducted by the cartel, you can locate my severed head. So to recap, every employee who works at Belko is willing to take a job in Colombia in a rural building guarded by militarized security officers, and they were all okay getting a chip installed that's totally not an explosive device right above their cerebellum. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? So the goods of the movie. Although it is a gimmick plot, I mean, ridiculous plots are awesome. The Purge is great. When the movie starts, the metal walls come down and the intercom comes on and you are less concerned about what's happening and more concerned about who's gonna kill who. Of course, it's very obvious that there are some characters that aren't pulling their weight in the beginning, they don't say much words and they're not really adding to the story, and you're just looking at them like, you're gonna get fucking murdered. There's about 80 employees in the office, but the story only follows about 6 of them, and one of the employees that the story follows, like, it's following them the whole time, and then they just die, and you're like, why did we follow this person? They were just killed, what? Okay. I guess it's kind of just a smart-ass way for the movie to go, hey, no one's safe in the Belko experiment. So the movie did a good job keeping you on your toes for a little bit, not knowing who's gonna live, who's gonna die, what's gonna happen. That was well done. The cast was very good. John C. McGinley in particular did a great job. He played what Dr. Phil would call a sexual deviant. Great character, loved it. You'll notice a lot of familiar faces from TV, from Walking Dead, The Newsroom, Silicon Valley. It's a pretty good cast, honestly. The movie was definitely not what I anticipated, which I liked. It kept me kind of in suspense and mystery, but it definitely fizzled out in the end, but at least it's only an hour and 20 minutes long, so it doesn't drag on that long, which I enjoyed. They kind of kept it concise. It's nice. Overall, when you go to see this movie, you're expecting to see how people react in a completely ridiculous situation, and the Belko experiment gives you just that. So James Gunn's a pretty big time guy with Guardians in the Galaxy and all, so I would expect him to be able to get a budget of over $5 million for this movie. Nothing wrong with low budget movies. I mean, Super that he did was amazing. It was only $2 million and like, it's a really good movie. But this movie, the low budget really shows. Gunn didn't direct the movie, but I feel if he did, it would have been a lot better. There's one scene where like they're shooting above the Belko building and it looks so fake in CGI with the fake steel above it and the cars. It looks like an establishing shot from Lazy Town. It's so shitty looking. But that's a minor issue and I understand they did what they could, but the big issue is the ending of this movie. Oh my god. Movies like this with a very interesting but also gimmicky plot can very easily be fucked up. Kind of like making dinner or raising a child. One wrong decision and it's fucked. The end of this movie was not only stupid, it was just unbelievable. You get to the end and you're like, what? That happened? I don't see that happening. And this is a ridiculous situation, but that was a ridiculous thing that just happened. Also, this is very stale and boring, and I'm not happy. I'm very disappointed. I'm sad. I'm sad. This movie just really, really disappointed me. Alright, time to rate this movie. I do it in 5 categories: story, acting, production, creativity, and watchability. 5 points each, then we multiply by 40 to get a score of 100. Let's begin. So the story. The movie's not story driven as it is concept driven. It's like cool idea, violence, twist, more violence, finale, shit ending. I mean, it's compelling in the beginning, but then it just dies hard. Story's a 2 out of 5. Acting. I enjoyed the primary cast, but the other 74 people in the building bugged the shit out of me. They were just screaming and crying, and I mean, clearly no one there has taken a Kevin Spacey masterclass. Also, I counted maybe 40 people. There was not 80 people in the building. I'm not sure where they got that number from. 40 people max. Acting, 2 out of 5. Production. They definitely fell a lot here, having such a grandiose concept but a low budget. It didn't work that well. The CGI I mentioned really pissed me off, but also the violence was gory and good, but it's kind of the tasteful gore, where like they show someone with a knife gonna stab someone, then they show a shadow of someone getting stabbed with blood splatter, then like a millisecond of someone like bleeding to show they were stabbed. So it's definitely kind of the tasteful violence, which I guess they don't want to be like a soft-est, but you know, okay, just don't try to advertise this big grandiose violent thing when they don't do that violent stuff. 3 out of 5. Creativity. Yes and no. It was creative on the concept, but I mean, we've had movies about people fighting to the death. It's not that crazy, but the ending was so stale. I mean, it was like a Doomsday Prepper's pack of saltines. Just, ugh. 2.5 out of 5. Watchability. This is very watchable. Naturally, we're very curious, and we're like, how is this predicament going to be resolved? This is quite the predicament. I must know how this is resolved. Jesus. Not to mention, we're all waiting for the YouTube prankster to come out and go, hey everyone, don't worry. This is just a social experiment. It's okay. 4 out of 5. 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2.5.
13.5.
13.5 times 4.
The answer is 54.
Official score of the Belko experiment is a 54. That's very fair in my opinion. It is a little high, people would say, go, hey man, that's kind of a stupid movie. But I thought it was such a good idea, and it was fun until they disappoint the fuck out of you. You know, they had me going for so long that I'm like, hey, you know what? It's worth it. 54 for you. So final thoughts on this movie. Look, the Belko experiment is no Titanic, okay? It's a mid-tier gimmick movie. This movie had a lot going for it. It was written by James Gunn, had a killer concept. I mean, there was a lot of potential here, but like my life, it just threw all that in the garbage and just disappointed the fuck out of everyone. But it gets a 54 because it's fun until you reach the end and are disappointed. Like I said, it's like raising a child. Well, thank you for watching Movies with James. It has been a fun time watching the Belko experiment. I would like to know, what would you do if you were in the Belko experiment? Comment below your strategy. Me personally, I would hide in a box. Not hide like they do in the movie where they hide behind a box and look out in complete view, but I would hide in a box. Or pull a Die Hard probably. That's my strategy. Let me know yours. Have a good life.